Rakers, of course, is this guy who claims that homosexuality is a terrible thing. He goes on a vacation with rentboy.com. And we come to find out how Rakers gets paid. And this is very interesting. So Rakers is a so-called expert on curing homosexuality and all the things that are wrong with homosexuality. He claims he's done scientific research. Well, scientific is a big question mark, right? But here's the part that drove me crazy. Do you know that different states have paid Rakers a tremendous amount of money for his expert testimony? Now, for example, in the state of Florida, they were debating the issue of whether there should be gay adoption or not. Now, at the time, Bill McCollum is, and he still is the Florida Attorney General. And Florida has the most restrictive ban on gay adoption. So now he's got to justify that. But he can't find any experts who think it's a terrible idea to do this, right? Because there are no scientific experts who believe that. So he's got to go find somebody like Rakers. So he gets Rakers to come and testify with his expertise on it. Later, when challenged on it, McCollum says, well, there wasn't a whole lot of choice, meaning there wasn't anybody else in the country who testified to that. So I had to hire this one guy who we know is in our back pocket, as it were. Now, are you ready to get outraged? Do you know how much they paid Rakers for his testimony? $120,000. $120,000 just to get up there and say, oh, yeah, I don't like gays. I don't think gays should be allowed to adopt. So where's your scientific evidence? I don't know. Dude, come on. It's in the Bible. Now, you think I'm making that up? No. Listen to the judges. Okay, here's what Miami-Dade Circuit County Judge Cindy Lederman wrote in 2008. Rakers' testimony was far from neutral and unbiased recitation of relevant scientific evidence. Dr. Rakers' beliefs are motivated by his strong ideological and theological convictions that are not consistent with the science. Based on his testimony and demeanor at trial, the court cannot consider his testimony to be credible nor worthy of forming the basis of public policy. Florida taxpayers, you just flushed $120,000 down the toilet. Now, I thought you guys were fiscal conservative. Bill McCollum now running to be the governor of Florida as the Republican nominee. Now, does that sound like a fiscally conservative thing to do? This guy comes up for a couple of days and tells you how much he doesn't like gays. The judge throws it out and says it's absurd, and you just lost $120,000 of taxpayer money. But it's not the only scam he's run. It's not just Florida. He went to Alabama, did the same thing. He charged them $165,000 for his expert testimony. Later, when they wouldn't pay the bills, he said, all right, I'm cranking it up to $200,000. Here's what the judge in Arkansas, not Alabama, if I misstated that. In the Arkansas gay adoption case, the Pulaski County Circuit Judge Timothy Fox said Rakers' testimony was, quote, extremely suspect, and that Rakers was, quote, there primarily to promote his own personal ideology. So Arkansas didn't want to pay him. They negotiate back and forth. Finally, he skinned $60,000 from the taxpayers of Arkansas. So, I mean, does it pay to be anti-gay even if you're gay? Apparently so. And that's how this scam goes. And they support the conservative politicians. The conservative politicians get in office. They support them by getting them this money back, taxpayer money back. Oh, you don't like gay people? Here's $120,000 to tell me that for one day. Man, if that is just outrageous. So that's where the story goes from funny to not funny at all. Now, Bill McCollum, of course, as he's running for governor, is backpedaling like crazy out of this. He's like, I didn't know this. I didn't know about Rent Boy. He's like, man, if I'd known about Rent Boy, I definitely wouldn't have gone there. I'd have found some other bigot to come in here and tell us how terrible gays are and how they shouldn't adopt. And maybe I'd have paid him $150,000. But I didn't mean to give it to a gay guy. Wow, okay, thank you. That's, very generous of you. Are you not merciful? The reason he couldn't find anybody else to do it is because there is no scientific evidence that gay adoption scars the kids or anything like that. It's just this guy who's gay who hates himself, who gets up there on the testimony, calls himself Dr. Rakers, and says, oh, no, gays, they do terrible damage. Sometimes they chafe my back after the massage.